Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Holy crap!
Looks like you already have.
I need guns. Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Talk About, the show we talk about everything going on in the movie and TV world. I am your host, and we're going to be talking about topics that, I'm very interested in talking about with you guys. Topics, I think you guys might find interesting. And, we got some cool ones. We got some cool ones today. Some cool topics. Our last one is one where we're talking about the Cinemacon schedule, which we'll talk about the impossible things that might be shown during that time. But before that way, please press that subscribe button. Help us on our goal to 1,000 subscribers. And with that, let's head on to our first topic here today. We all know Dune has been very successful for Warner Brothers. It is their new sci-fi / fantasy franchise. I honestly think the Dune franchise is on par with Lord of the Rings in a way where Lord of the Rings is more sci-fi fantastical. Dune is kind of like that, but in space, in the sci-fi genre. And I think Dune Part 2 is a perfect movie. I say it, it's a perfect movie. I don't know why it's not getting nominated for as much as it is at the Oscars this year or any other award shows. Like, people just love recency bias. That's a whole other thing I can talk about. But, we do know that Warner Bros. Ain't gonna let this franchise go, because Denis Villeneuve might only do one more movie, but that doesn't mean that there might be more in store for this franchise. Well, according to comicmovie.com, we're getting an idea of who might come in after Denis Villeneuve leaves the franchise. This is what they had to say. Jurassic World Rebirth director Gareth Edwards rumored to be on WB's radar to helm fourth Dune movie. Now, this is not a confirmation. This is being told by a scooper, Daniel Richmond, them basically saying like they are looking at possibly adding Gareth Edwards to helm this franchise. I think they're going to wait till Jurassic World Rebirth comes out to see how well he does with that big franchise. I do think this is a good choice. A lot like Denis Villeneuve, I think Gareth Edwards is one of those underrated directors. Look, his movie's a creator. He is a VFX artist. That's his background. And then he stepped in directing. Look at his movies. The creator. I always go to the creator because not a lot of people saw the movie. A lot of people did not see that movie. But the visual effects in that movie made it seem like a $200 million movie. That movie was made for less than $100 million. My God, were the VFX great in that. And I really love the performances and the story in that film as well. And then, of course, Rogue One, which he kind of did Rogue One, he kind of didn't. But his Godzilla movie was also really, really good, too. I love Gareth Edwards' Godzilla movie. I think it's very, very much like an underrated movie in the Godzilla franchise. One of the most profitable ones too. And of course, he has Jurassic World Rebirth coming out. I think the trailer, I'm excited for the movie, but I think the trailer, was a bit, bland. I think it was like, oh, we've already done this kind of before. Go to the island, get eaten by some dinosaurs, get back home. We've done it before. But him taking over Dune, especially taking over, going into Children of Dune, which that is a part of the Dune books, because if you know Dune, the books just get worse and worse and worse. They don't really get better. And I think that's going to be the challenging thing for this franchise, where it's like, how do you adapt the source material when the source material isn't really that strong? I think if Denis Villeneuve does decide to leave after Messiah, he does his last Dune movie, you can go into the Children of Dune books, because the thing with that is, you can have a new cast there. Timothée Chalamet, all that cast doesn't have to have loyalty. We're only going to do this if Denis Villeneuve is doing the film. I'm like, but in Children of Dune, the characters are very much aged up. It takes it's several years after Messiah, so you can bring in an older Paul Atreides, an older Chani. You can bring in, an older Princess Ilium. You can bring in older characters, have a completely new cast of characters, but still have these, not a new cast of characters, but just a new cast to play the same characters, really. So it's kind of exciting, like, if they decide to go into those books, what they're going to do with it. But do I think Gareth Edwards is a good choice? I think he's a great choice. I think, in a way, he has I love his style of filmmaking, with his very, like, cinematic lenses he has used to choose movies, and the way, he's able to use CGI to almost to the point where it actually looks real. But, guys, what do you think about this? Apparently there's a new rumor going around that Gareth Edwards might be in line to direct a 4th Dune movie after Denis Villeneuve completes his trilogy. What do you think about this? Leave comments down below. Let's move on to our next topic here today. Alright, we know we got Spider-Man 4 coming. Spider-Man 4. We have been very excited for this movie. This movie, I think, I'm as much excited for this movie as much I'm excited for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, because I love where they left off Spider-Man in the MCU. And now we got some more rumors coming around that apparently the main villain in this movie is going to be played by a big actor. According to thecomicmovie.com, Spider-Man 4, a big actor, reportedly has offered to play movie's main villain. This is also being reported by Daniel Richmond, who is, of course, a scooper. He says a big actor now being offered to play the main villain in Spider-Man 4. Now, they don't give any, like, indication, like, who the actor is and who the villain is. I do believe, I think I have a rumor. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put a theory out there right now. I think that this is actually going to be Norman Osborn, and I think it's going to be played by Coleman Domingo. Why do I say this? Listen, we have the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show coming on right now. I know I'm a bit behind on that series reaction. I've been really busy. Personally, like, the show, like, hasn't done great on the channel, so I don't know if I'm continuing it. I might continue it down the road, but the show's okay. It's not. I don't think it's great, but it's okay. But one thing I have to say, I love Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn in the show. It was, oh my god, I love him as a character. I'm like, I need to now see Coleman Domingo play this character in the MCU. I love Coleman Domingo as an actor and the projects he picks. And, I also, like, love, he's so great at just telling stories. If you guys have not watched, watch the Graham Norton show where he explains, like, how he met his husband. It's one of the most romantic stories I've ever heard. And, like, this guy just has charisma. And if you're doing Norman Osborn, you need charisma. I know, like, a lot of people want, like, especially me for a while, wanted, like, Damon Lewis from Billions and Homeland to play the character because, they look very similar. But I really love the Coleman Domingo playing it in the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show. Now, there's that whole other talk where it's like, oh, Marvel's just trying to make a more diverse cast by not making Norman Osborn white. No. I think the thing is, you get the best actor possible. And when it says a big actor, Coleman Domingo is a big actor, ladies and gentlemen. Coleman Domingo is an two-time Oscar nominee. Two-time. And, whenever he's in a project, I'm just like, oh, I'm interested. I am interested to see where this is going to go. That's what I think. I honestly think. And we did also get another little bit of news in here from, like, I think it was from Jeff Snyder, where it also said that Zendaya's MJ is going to be in the movie. But it's minor. Yes. Thank you. My whole thing with Spider-Man 4 is MJ needs to be a minor character. Because the thing with where it leaves off is where Peter does not want to tell MJ who he is because he does not want to lose her. He wants her to be safe. I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity, Marvel. Perfect opportunity to introduce more Spider-Man love interests. Maybe introduce a Gwen Stacy, a Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. There's so many other relationships Spider-Man has with other people in the comics where you can introduce them in a Spider-Man 4 to create kind of a new trilogy because, I think, even though at the end of the day, Peter Parker always ends up with MJ, aka Mary Jane. But that doesn't mean, he hasn't fallen in love with other people. I honestly think, his great love was Gwen Stacy. Like, those two just fit so perfectly together. I love it. I also love Gwen with Miles, but I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 4. And, hearing Zendaya is a small part of it, that she still is in it, but has a minor role, that is sure to make me a bit happy, because that means it's not going to be like, oh, decisions he made in Spider-Man No Way Home aren't going to be, like, redacted in Spider-Man 4. But, guys, what do you think about this? A big villain is probably going to show up in Spider-Man 4, but it's also being played by a big actor. What do you think about my theory? And second of all, what do you think about now the confirmed thing from Jeff Snyder saying Zendaya is going to have a smaller role in Spider-Man 4? Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our third topic here today. Daredevil Born Again is coming so soon. It feels like it was like 5 years ago when they said that Daredevil was not going to come back. But then the heavens shined down on us and was like, no, he's coming. Daredevil's coming to the MCU, but with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and all your favorite cast members coming back to play them. And I have been so excited, not just because Daredevil, but my favorite Netflix character from that was the Punisher. I love Jon Bernthal's Punisher. He is so good as the character. And of course, I've been a bit hesitant about the show because we've got all those, the showrunners coming. It's like, oh, there's not a lot of talking in the show. That's kind of boring. People just want to see fighting all the time, which makes us audience seem like really, really stupid, to be sure. But I go back, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, like what about scenes on the rooftop with Punisher and Daredevil trying to explain their ideologies on why they do what they do? In Daredevil Season 2, the conversation in the prison where Matt just goes confronts Kingpin, and Kingpin gets so angry he smashes his face down. Like, those are the moments that make Daredevil, which make the show great. But there has also been another worry. Disney Plus does this thing where they only do 30 to 20-minute episodes, and it's like, why? It feels like they're trying to make a 6-hour movie instead of an actual TV show. Well, we just got the official runtimes of the first 2 episodes, and guys, oh yes, this is what I wanted. According to thecomicmovie.com, Daredevil Born Again episode runtimes revealed as Demon's TV spot is officially released. So we're not going to talk about the TV spot, we're going to talk about the length of the episodes. Now, this is from Critical 4K Coral on Twitter. He says he knows the runtime. So the first Daredevil episode, the first one, is 58 freaking minutes. 58 minutes. Now, usually premieres for Disney Plus shows, they are that long. They do take that. They are usually a longer episode to introduce the audience to the show. Then, through the second and maybe other episodes, they're 20 to maybe 30 minutes, which really sucks. Well, now we're learning the second chapter is 47 minutes. Fuck yes. Thank you, Disney. I am so happy they're doing this because the Daredevil episodes on Netflix were almost an hour long each episode, and each episode was so great. And now that Disney's we gotta replicate that. We can't do 30 minutes for Daredevil. We can't do, like a sitcom, runtime for these. We gotta do long runtimes. And it makes me so excited. Because I'm this show is being treated as a show, not just a long form movie. And I'm so excited to see the story. I'm excited to see my trio back with Matt, Foggy, and Karen. I'm excited to see where they are in their lives. I'm so excited to see where Punisher is. Oh my god, I cannot wait for Jon Bernthal to show up as Frank Castle again. Oh, and excited to see where the Kingpin story is going. What's Moose's story? How does Bullseye form into the story? How does White Tiger fit in? I am so beyond excited for this. This is probably I'm gonna say, guys, this is my most anticipated show of the year. This is my most anticipated show of this year because I think it's gonna be great. I think this is the first show after the Chapek era. Because the Chapek era, guys, was just put it out, and who cares if it's good or not. Remember, this show wasn't supposed to have Daredevil showing up till midway through the show. We wouldn't have seen Daredevil that soon. But once Feige got his power back, he's we gotta make a show worthy of the name Daredevil, worthy of that Netflix series. They reshot it, and guys, that trailer is so great. It's violent, it's messy, it's gory, it has everything I love about Daredevil, and I cannot wait for this to drop. But guys, what do you think about this? We got the official runtimes for the episodes of Daredevil Born Again, and it looks like we're finally actually getting long-ass episodes on Disney+. Leave your comments down below, and let's move on to our last topic here today. Now, my favorite time of the year is not Comic-Con. it is not D23. It is Cinemacon, baby. Cinemacon is one of my favorite events of the year. This is when all the studios, well, most all of them, some of them don't choose to come, they come here to present and show the theaters why they should put their movies in theaters. Studios like Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal all come here to show off their movies and give the audience a little sneak peek also to what's to come in the future. And I've been very excited about this year. I have been excited when the schedule comes out, because the schedule's now out, guys. The schedule for CinemaCon is now out. So we're going to go over it right now. We are going to go over the first day, which is going to be Monday, March 31st. And to kick off the presentations is Sony. Sony, yes. Sony has basically a 2 hour and 15 minute panel from 6:30 to 8:45. So the question is, what are they going to show? What is Sony going to show? Now, for Sony, do not expect any Spider-Man 4, because technically Spider-Man 4 is always under the Sony banner. They get that, whenever you see a Spider-Man movie, especially in the MCU, there's like a little banner that says Sony Pictures. And Sony kind of gets like to present that movie everywhere, even if it's part of the MCU. But they're not going to show it because they never really shown a Spider-Man like MCU thing ever at CinemaCon. But there is still some movies coming out. There's some movies coming out this year that are excited about. So, what can they talk about? I think they're definitely going to talk about Karate Kid Legends. Karate Kid Legends, I think it's going to be a big thing there. They're going to bring like Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan up on stage, and maybe Ben Wing, the new kid, and they're going to show a little footage from Karate Kid Legends. 28 years later, I think 28 years later is definitely going to have a presence there. They're going to talk about that and maybe possibly the sequels, because they're trying to make a new trilogy out of the 28 years later franchise, which is very, very exciting. Also, on July 18th, 2025, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is kind of a sequel. It's a sequel to like a horror movie that came out a few years ago. You had, I believe this had Freddie Prinze Jr. in it, which love him from Rebels. I'm somewhat excited for it. It's the fourth film in the franchise. It's not really a franchise people know, but I think they want to start promoting it at CinemaCon. Anaconda, definitely. Now, this movie I'm a bit interested in because you got Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Thandie Newton, and Steven Zahn. This, I think, is going to be kind of a remake. It is a horror film, but guys, you got Jack Black and Paul Rudd in here. Jack Black and Paul Rudd, I would go see any movie of those two, especially if they're both in it. So, I definitely think Anaconda. Now, what can they be talking about for the future? I don't think anything for Spider-Man, guys. I don't think Spider-Man will have any presence here because what we know of is that they're doing a complete reset of their Sony movies. They can't... Beyond the Spider-Verse is not coming out until like 2030 now with everything going on in that movie. But there are still some other things we can talk about. Like I said before, the 28 years later sequel coming out in 2026. They're going to give a little hint and talk about that a little. There is also the new Sony Pictures animation film GOAT, which they just released a little poster for, which is being produced by Stephen Curry. Very much going to be probably interested about that. Very much Sony Pictures animation always kind of kills it. And then Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter is very low. Street Fighter, it was originally going to be directed by the guys who did Talk to Me. And, those guys, had the Raka YouTube channel. And, I thought they were perfect for this. And then they dropped out because they wanted to make Talk to Me too. Which I understand, but I would have really... That kind of, soured my excitement for the movie. They could talk about it. Could talk about director and when it's actually starting filming and coming out. But that's kind of it for Sony, I think. Not really much. Of course, they could mention, the Legend of Zelda movie, another Ghostbusters movie, or maybe, another Uncharted movie. But I think that's really it, guys. For the 2 hours they have, I think they're going to focus it more on the movies coming out this year, because that's what CinemaCon's about. But I think you can also get, some possible movies coming out in 2026. I don't think any Spider-Man. I think No Spider-Man will be talked about during this presentation. All right, now that's all for day one. Sony's the only one for day one. Now, the next studio that is going to be talking is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. Now, this is very critical, I think, for Warner Brothers. Not critical, but exciting. Because it says Warner Brothers Pictures invites you to the big picture, a special presentation of its upcoming slate. Now, we all know why we're excited for Warner Brothers, guys. We all know why we're excited. Now, we all know why we're excited for this because of one movie. Superman. Now, a lot of people think that they could show Superman at Cinemacon this year. I don't think they're going to show it there because that's too big. That's their biggest movie. Superman is their biggest movie for Warner Brothers this year. Like, it's the movie everyone's excited about. Now, Superman, I think James Gunn comes on stage. He talks about Superman. I think he talks a little bit about Supergirl as well. Maybe a little bit about Batman. But I think Superman is going to be one of the main focuses of that panel. Now, there's still a bunch of other movies coming out. We got, by the time Cinemacon starts, Mickey 17 will be out and Alto Nights will also be out, so they won't talk about those movies. But the next few movies I think they'll talk about. They'll talk about Minecraft. Not excited for Minecraft, guys. Those trailers are horrendous. Minecraft does not look good at all. But Sinners, they could talk about Sinners, which just comes out in a few weeks. But a few weeks, they could talk about, hey, do a little short presentation, like, hey, Sinners coming out, a little sizzle reel. Be excited for the movie. The next one, The Accountant 2, which is kind of, with MGM and them. But The Accountant 2 does look really, really good. That trailer was so good. Final Destination Bloodlines. I think they're going to give a look at that. We got that little teaser trailer, which was showing one of the deaths, which was really, really cool. Excited to see the rest of the cast and what the overall story of this Final Destination Bloodlines movie is. Another one, F1. Of course, that is being done by Apple, but it's also in partner with Warner Brothers. So I really want them to drop a full trailer. We have not gotten a full trailer for this movie, guys. The problem is, with some movies, they do all these, oh, that movie looks cool, but what's the story? We need to know what the story is of this movie. We got a little bit in that first teaser. We saw a little bit more in that TV spot, but I want, what's the story of this movie? And of course, Joseph Kosinski, the director of Top Gun, is going to be the director of this movie, and I hope he's going to be there with Brad Pitt and some of the cast to talk more about the movie. Of course, Superman, we already talked about. That is definitely going to be talked about. Some other ones, that could happen that are going to be talked about. I think, The Bride, the new Maggie Gyllenhaal movie, with Christian Bale, Penelope Cruz, Annette Bening, I think that one could be very much talked about. I've been very excited for that movie, because, Christian Bale, who's not going to go see a Christian Bale movie? Mortal Kombat 2. I think they show footage there for Mortal Kombat 2, because that movie comes out in October. And Cinemacon is just looking at the year. What's coming out in theaters that year. So they got to show some Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2, I think they definitely show some of that because, that was a good success for them. A little small success for them when the first movie came out. I think they drop a trailer there, maybe some footage, but, overall, the movie comes out in October, so probably not going to show so much. The next one I think that they're going to talk about is with movies for 2026. I already kind of talked about it. Superwoman tomorrow. Maybe they show a little sizzle of what they've done so far because it is filming right now. It's been filming for a few weeks. So they could show some footage, that kind of some uncut footage. Here's a little glimpse of Supergirl's suit. Maybe they show that to the audience there. None of this can be released online, but anyway, guys, some of the trailers for this will be released online, but not a lot of it. Other things, I think that maybe they mentioned, hey, we're filming Dune 3 right now. Officially confirm that Dune 3 is filming. Everyone's coming back. And maybe put up the title card, Dune Messiah. Or Dune Part 3, whatever they're going to call it. Those are kind of the really big things. I think also they need to address the Batman. They need to talk about, they might not mention it. It's just a little hope. But if they say Batman's the Batman is filming this, it's coming out here, I I think that could be part of like a DC Studios presentation if they do that there. And those are kind of like the might happen because, guys, remember, Cinemacon is about presenting movies coming out in 2025. Seeing like theaters. This is why you should put my movie in theaters. This is why you should put Minecraft in theaters. Mortal Kombat in theaters. I think everyone is going to be there for Superman now. Everyone there is going to be like, what are they going to show for Superman? I know a lot of people want them to show the actual movie. I don't think it's going to happen. It would be cool to hear, first thoughts from people coming out of that, but I think they show a lot for Superman. I think that's just a given. They got to show a lot for this movie. And I think that's about it for the Warner Brothers panel. All right. Now, let's move on to the next one. That was just day 2, guys. We move on to day 3 now. There's Angel Studios. We don't really care about Angel Studios. Angel Studios won't have... I don't really care about a lot of their movies. Universal. Now, it says here, special advanced screening from Universal Pictures. Now, it doesn't say screening, then it talks about the slate. No, this is a 2-hour movie that they're going to show. So Universal's going to be showing a movie this year. Now, what can this be? Now, they have to do one of the bigger ones. For me, there are 3 options for them to show. How to Train Your Dragon, Megan 2.0, Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, I think the most common one is that they're going to do Megan, just because, How to Train Your Dragon and Jurassic World are really big movies. But I think if they show, I have a feeling that they might be showing How to Train Your Dragon. People were so excited for this movie that it's only a 2-month wait. The movie's basically done. I think they show How to Train Your Dragon at this special screening. I do think. Now, this is not also they're talking about movies. This is just they are showing a complete movie to the audience there. I think they show How to Train Your Dragon. It's the most given. But if it's Megan, it's either Megan or How to Train Your Dragon. Jurassic World Rebirth could be. Not very likely. Because that movie does come out in July and they've only shown one trailer for that. We've seen more footage from How to Train Your Dragon. Not a lot from Megan. So I honestly think How to Train Your Dragon, they're going to show us at Cinemacon. And people are going to just flock in there. And I cannot wait for what they say about the movie. I really hope it's good. Because I cannot wait for it to come out. And that's kind of like one of the special screenings they'll show. And in the other 2-hour presentations that we already talked about, they could show a movie in there as well. But it didn't really give any indication that they were. And let's move on. And now, Universal is also doing their presentation that day, but it was along with Focus Features. So for Universal, let's talk about them. Because Focus Features, I don't really know what they got going on, but I know Universal has some movies they want to talk about. So, movies we have not seen footage for. I think Wicked for Good is going to have a very good presence there. Why do I say that? Because Wicked was probably one of the most successful movies of 2024. It was a global sensation, nominated for Oscars. At the moment that this is happening, we would already know who won Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress. And, it was a nominated movie. It was great. I think they talk about Wicked for Good, talk about, hey, this is happening, maybe show a little footage there. The Black Phone 2 from Scott Derrickson, who just did The Gorge. The Gorge is excellent, guys. Go watch it. The Gorge is so good. I love that movie. Black Phone 2, I think they talk about that. Actually, one of the years at CinemaCon, they showed the Black Phone. So, they could show it there, but I think How to Train Your Dragon is going to take that. Now, if they don't show How to Train Your Dragon, I believe they're going to bring the cast out, the director, talk about that. Bring out Gerard Butler, talk about the movie. Next, like I said, Megan 2.0, talk about that. Megan was also like a kind of sleeper hit for them as well. Jurassic World Rebirth, definitely going to talk about that. That's one of their biggest movies this year. Like on par with Wicked. Everyone loves the Jurassic Park franchise, so definitely going to talk about that. Nobody 2, probably going to talk about that as well. Remember, guys, CinemaCon is not mainly for announcements. It's mainly to highlight films that they have coming out for the year. Now, that doesn't mean we can get some talk about 2026 movies. Probably my most anticipated Universal movie, The Odyssey. They could talk about it. Guys, cameras are rolling. We got that first image of Matt Damon. Maybe just like The Odyssey comes here and release who the cast is playing. Just do something like that. Gets us more excited and us to talk about the film more. Apparently, also the sequel to Super Mario Bros. Is coming out 2026, so that could be another thing they kind of mentioned. Talked about Jordan Peele's next film, the Steven Spielberg film. Guys, look at what Universal has here for 2026. Steven Spielberg's movie, The Odyssey, with Christopher Nolan, and then Jordan Peele's movie. Those all come out in 2026 for Universal. So Universal has got a lot of cool projects coming in 2026, and a lot of them are untitled, so I think they talk about those. I think also Shrek 5 also has a minor presence there, because it's Shrek. Everyone loves Shrek. Everyone loves Shrek. So that's about be it for Universal. And then they end the day. Then there's actually one more studio there, guys, on the third day. We got an Amazon MGM Studios from 8:15 to 10 o'clock. And guys, we'll probably be live streaming that day. We'll probably be live streaming from Twitter that day, when these are happening. But Amazon MGM Studios, this is the first time they're showing up there. The first time this studio is showing up to CinemaCon. And you're probably wondering, like, don't they just do streaming movies? Because, of course, Amazon, does, like, the Jack Ryan stuff. And it's like, it is Amazon, so, like, they do for the streaming service. But they also do movies, They did Red One. They had a partnership with Warner Brothers to do Red One. But there is one movie in particular I want them to talk about. That is Masters of the Universe. It's filming right now. I would love, maybe, to see some concept art. Maybe a little promo video. Maybe if them talking about, like, yo, they just showed us this from Masters of the Universe, showed us some early, like, looks in the movie, That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. But that's about it for MGM because, that's really all I know. Masters of the Universe is probably my most anticipated movie that they're going to be releasing next year. So, very excited for that. All right. The final day. The final day is going to be exciting because you have usually these two studios save for the last day. Paramount is going to be there on Thursday, 9:45 to 11:30. Now, Paramount, they got some movies they're going to talk about. Movies that I'm very, very excited about. First off, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Of course, they're going to talk about this freaking movie because it's coming out. They're going to have Tom Cruise do a freaking stunt on stage. He's going to fall from a plane and, like, parachute in. Like, he's going to do something. They're going to show some stuff from that because that comes out May 23rd. So definitely going to show some stuff from Mission Impossible. The Smurfs movie. I don't give a fucking shit about that Smurfs movie. Just go show Influencer Smurf and everyone will be like, oh my god, Influencer Smurf, like, ah! I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. So that Smurfs movie looks freaking terrible, guys. I will not spend my money to go see that movie. Another one I'm excited for, the Naked Gun movie. Of course, it has, of course, Liam Neeson in there. Guys, you may be like, Liam Neeson in a spoof movie? Liam Neeson's a very funny man, guys. He's very funny. Go watch the Ted 2 and see, like, when he's buying tricks, he's like, I just have to ask you, are these tricks only for kids, or can adults have them too? Like, he is so funny. And I also think Pamela Anderson is also in this film too, which she's actually coming back in the limelight because Pamela Anderson was just in The Showgirl, which it got a lot of award buzz, and, like, it kind of rejuvenated her career. Another movie I really want to talk about, The Running Man. The Running Man, of course, I want to talk about. Why? Why Running Man? Of course, Edgar Wright, one of my favorite directors. Of course, director of Baby Driver, one of my favorite heist movies in the last few years. Also, you got a pretty killer cast in Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Lee Pace, Michael Cera, Emilia Jones, Coleman Domingo, William H. Macy. Guys, this is a stacked cast. And, any movie that Glenn Powell is in, I will watch. Not because I think he's the most attractive human being to ever exist on this earth. Like, look at the man. That man is literally like the perfect human being. Like, oh, he's perfect. This is going to be important for Glenn Powell because Glenn Powell, I think, the Hitman showed that he is a great, great actor. But I think The Running Man is going to show the world that he's a great actor, because not a lot of people watch The Hitman. Not a lot of people watch it. I think Running Man is going to be a very big movie. This cast looks freaking stacked. It's great, and I cannot wait to see what this movie is about. Of course, it is, I think, a remake of another remake of a movie that came out in like 1980s. Of course, I haven't seen it. Maybe I got put on my list. If you guys think if it's that good. All right. Now, some other ones. There are some other ones. There, of course, there's the animated Aang: The Last Airbender movie that was pushed to 2026. Could very much talk about that, because guys, they also make announcements here. They talk about movies. Scream 7 could talk about. Maybe talk about sequels to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel. Maybe talk about Sonic 4-2. I would love them also to give us some more Transformers news. Like what's happening with that G.I. Joe Transformers movie, The Last Ronin. Guys, they made so many cool announcements at Cinemacon for Paramount last year. I was like, oh my god. They announced The Last Ronin. They announced the Transformers X G.I. Joe movie. Like, I would love to see if those are still happening. The Last Ronin especially. Like, I love Transformers, but they're doing a Last Ronin movie. Like, it's going to be like a rated R Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Like, oh my god. And that comic run. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. But, yeah, that's kind of for Paramount. They have a few really cool releases coming out this year, but also some really cool upcoming ones in 2026. Now, there's only one studio really left, guys. There's only one studio left, and that is Disney. The big mouse himself, Disney. From 235 to 430. Now, Disney, of course, not only just Disney, but Marvel, 20th Century Studios. Well, they got a lot of studios on their belt, so there's a lot for them to talk about. So let's go talk about some of those. So we're going to start just with basic Disney. Lilo and Stitch. I want a trailer. I get it. We've seen Stitch like in 1,000 TV spots. But I want a trailer. Give me a trailer to this freaking movie because I really want to see it. Lilo and Stitch was something I didn't watch as a kid. But there were times when it was just on in the background like, that looks pretty cool. That Stitch guy, he's a pretty cute little alien. I want to see this trailer. I want to see it because I'm very excited for this Lilo and Stitch movie. I think it looks really, really enjoyable. Another one, Freakier Friday, which is kind of a sequel to Freaky Friday. It's going to have Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis return. I'm not super excited because I'm not a Freaky Friday fan, but hey, that could be enjoyable. Tron Ares. I think they drop a trailer at CinemaCon to show everyone, and a few months later, they drop that trailer online. I am so excited for Tron Ares. Well, you can say what you want about Tron Legacy. That is a beautiful, beautiful movie. The CGI, the Daft Punk score. I would love to hear, the new score for this movie because that Daft Punk score, like, and of course, Daft Punk broken up, not returning for the movie. Very sad, but of course, Tron Legacy was a disappointment. I really hope Tron Ares is good. Of course, got Jared Leto in there. Jared Leto's a good actor. Please give him a good movie for once. Please give him a good movie. Oh my god, he needs a win. Give him a win. Zootopia 2. I think they definitely do some talk about Zootopia 2. That's a movie I think they definitely want to promote there because Zootopia 2 is probably going to be $1 billion movie just like Moana 2 was. Because Disney's animated movies just do good at the box office. That's about it for Walt Disney for 2025. I don't expect them to make a whole lot of announcements here because they got so much for 2025. And it's a lot to cover. Now let's move on to 20th Century. 20th Century Studios. Of course, they got The Amateur coming out, which I think with Rami Malek, I think The Amateur looks really, really good. He looks really good. Like those trailers, like where it's like, oh, this guy's just a pathetic little hacker for the CIA. And in the trailer, like Lawrence Fishburne's like, maybe you guys misjudged this individual where he becomes like a full-blown, terrorist, like killing all the people who killed his wife. Like, the movie looks really, really good and enjoyable. And we got Rachel Brosnan now, our new Lois Lane, so definitely going to go check that out. Definitely probably going to show it there, too. The next one, Predator Badlands. I think that they show not a trailer, but a little sizzle, including Predator Badlands, because still comes out in November, but definitely going to be on the list because 20th Century Fox has really rejuvenated the Prey and Alien franchise. Alien Romulus was, I think, one of the best Alien movies that's ever been made. I still think Aliens is better, but still great. I still need to watch Prey, though. Prey is definitely on our list for movie reactions, so I'm definitely going to be watching Prey very, very soon. But Predator Badlands, you got Elle Fanning in there, and they've kind of talked about how, this Predator Badlands movie is not connected to Prey, but it's kind of going to be having the Predators as the good guys. I'm like, then who's going to be the bad guys taking on the Predators? So, very excited for that. And of course, the big one, Avatar Fire and Ash. I think it's possible James Cameron shows up and they literally show a trailer to Cinemacon. Guys, I remember when Avatar The Way of Water was coming out, they showed the trailer at Cinemacon for it that year. And this was months before the movie came out. So I think same thing again. Same release date as last time. They're going to show a trailer for Avatar Fire and Ash with James Cameron and the cast there. And that's really kind of it for a 20th century. I think those movies are going to take up a whole lot of time. Now, of course, the next studio, Marvel. Marvel's got 2 movies coming out this year. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I think they show a little bit more for Thunderbolts because they did show a lot of Captain America Brave New World last year at CinemaCon along with Deadpool and Wolverine. I think Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, they're going to show a lot of footage for Fantastic Four. They gotta get people hyped for this movie. They're going to show a lot of footage. They're probably going to show off Galactus, some clips from the movie, which I wish I was there. I wish I could see this. It's not going to release online, but I can't wait to see it. Thunderbolts, I think they're going to show a little more of the movie, kind of what they did for Captain America and Deadpool last year. Now, everyone's like, could they talk about Doomsday? Doomsday is filming. At this point, Avengers Doomsday will be filming. It is possible that they show a little behind-the-scenes look at Doomsday. It's possible. Bring the Russos out. Put a little bit of the Russos like, hey, we're really busy filming Avengers right now. We would just like to, show you. Here's Doctor Doom. Here's what he looks like. That could bring the house down at CinemaCon. But it's very, very small chance that happens. So Disney for 2 hours has got so much to talk about, so much I'm so excited for. This is probably my most anticipated panel, along with Warner Brothers. I think this is a bit more exciting for me because Thunderbolts, of course, but also movies like Tron Ares, Avatar, Predator Badlands are movies I'm very interested to see footage for. And that's it, guys. That is CinemaCon's weekend. What do you guys think about this, guys? What do you think about what is going to happen during this CinemaCon event? Do you think we're going to get some really cool announcements, some first looks, and what do you guys just think about this? Leave comments down below, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.